Hello, and welcome to the Working with CET and Spec breakout session. My name is Julie Hart, and I will be leading today's session. Today's session goals, really what we're going to do is we're going to try and clear up that alphabet soup. There are so many acronyms and little three-letter things that go along with CET and Spec that we're going to kind of clear up all of those abbreviations. We're going to start with a quick introduction and overview. Then we will review the Commercial Interiors Library extension and the catalog browser. We'll discuss when you should potentially use the catalog browser over the Commercial Interior Library extension, symbols, or vice versa. We will also recommend we will also make recommendations for when to use CET calculations over the spec spreadsheet, the print reports that you can generate from CET versus the spec print template reports that can be customized. Then we'll talk about how to get from CET to Spec and vice versa, and other ordering programs with your exports and imports. And then finally, I'm going to give you guys my contact information so that you can reach out with any questions that you may have as you continue working with CET and Spec. As I stated, my name is Julie Hart. As I stated, my name is Julie Hart, and I am a senior training specialist here at Configura, and I do specialize in all things spec and CET, as I am a carryover from Project Matrix and the acquisition. I am also the education program coordinator, so if you happen to instruct at the university level or know someone who does, please have them reach out to me. I'm happy to give them information on how to get them started with our program. As you can see here, I have a wonderful husband and 3 children. My eldest is a freshman at Ohio State this year. Go Bucks! I'm happily cheering her and the team on to victory this year. I do also have a 10-year-old stepson and then a 4.5-year-old little boy as well. We love to do all things outdoors like hiking, boating, fishing, camping, etc. But we are also avid travelers who love to visit really any beach. We love the beach. All right, so let's go ahead and get it started with today's breakout session. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Commercial Interiors Library extension, what it does for you, and how it can be a benefit for your drawing and using in CET. What it is it actually gives you the ability to insert CAD-based furniture symbols. So all of the symbols in the CIL extension are layers based. So if you're familiar with working with those CAD symbols and those different layers, it's a very easy way for you guys to place and apply place symbols and apply materials to them. Why would you need that though? What the extension does is it actually provides symbols, pricing, and specification options for any manufacturer who publishes data in the Commercial Interiors Library. If we have over 240 manufacturers in the Commercial Interiors Library itself. Some of those manufacturers have extensions while others do not. So the CIL extension is a great way to access data for manufacturers who do not have extensions, but they do publish data in our libraries. The difference between publishing in our libraries and having an extension, catalog browser symbols come from that extension data, whereas commercial interior library data is a different source currently. Also, not every manufacturer's extension has their entire catalog or product selection. Um, Sometimes those manufacturers will provide that catalog information that's not in their extension with the catalog browser. However, if they don't, you will be able to find that product information in the library data. Okay, so not only is it a way for you to supplement your manufacturer your manufacturer database. It's also a way for you to supplement your mainline manufacturer database. Included with the Commercial Interiors Library extension, we do have a DWG conversion tool, so you can import an AutoCAD drawing with AutoCAD symbols and then convert these symbols into three-dimensional symbols for space planning. You can search using either the catalog or part description. So part number or catalog description using that catalog search. You can modify or change any symbols that you convert. So you can apply materials or change materials to symbols that you bring in and convert. You can edit text. You can import symbols using a CIF. And you can also apply pick lists that are able to access. Here is a list and an image of some of the tools that we are going to be talking about as we go into the Commercial Interior Library extension. So moving over to CET, you can see here are the three main component tabs for the Commercial Interiors Library. The main component tab has the most robust menu of the three tabs, and you can access the catalog reader, which is the second tab, as well as the catalog search, which is the third tab, from this main component tab menu. The reader and the catalog search are the tools that you guys are going to use to open up the catalog data and select pieces for placement. The first thing you want to do is you're going to select which manufacturer you are going to pull pieces from. And then if they have multiple catalogs, you can select the catalog you're using from this second drop-down menu. To get into the actual data, you are going to want to click on this little plus sign in front of the part or piece that you are going to place. Essentially, what you're doing as you are selecting these parts and pieces, or you're selecting these options, is you're building out that piece that you would like to place. From here, you have a couple of different options. You can double click on that part, and it's going to pull up the part specifier, which is going to allow you to select options prior to the placement of your furniture piece. Once you've selected your options, simply click Accept, and the symbol is going to automatically generate on the end of your cursor, and you can place it in either your 2D or your 3D, depending on which view you would prefer. You can use the quick properties box to move through the different snap nodes that are available to you. You can also left click and hold to rotate the object according to your angle step if you would like to as well. You can see that another symbol will automatically generate at the end of your cursor until not only can you browse catalogs for parts and pieces, but you can also search for parts and pieces using the catalog search tab. Again, you can select a specific manufacturer or you can activate all of the manufacturers you've turned on here in your catalog manager. You can search by either part number or part description, and there are a couple of general rules for the actual search. In order to search by either part number or part description, you have to know at least 3 characters of that part number. If you do not know 3 characters, you can put an asterisk in there to represent the third character. You may not get a very detailed search with fewer characters. Simply hit enter to generate your search list. You can also put that wildcard in the middle of a part number and narrow that search down. Again, from here, you can simply double click on the part that you would like to place, or you can left click and drag that part or piece into your drawing to add finishes to it later. Hit escape to remove that symbol. And as you can see, we've got those pieces placed here in our drawing. When you search by description, you have to know exactly how the manufacturer has given you that description. You're going to want to avoid general descriptions or 3. You may not be able to find the part description that you are for the part that you are looking for. Again, you can double click here to open the part specifier, select options, click accept, and then you'll be The next tool that you have available to you here in the Commercial Interiors library is also a pick list. Simply left click on that pick list button, and then you can left click to place as many pick lists as you would like. These pick lists you cannot rename. However, you can add parts and pieces either through the catalog reader, um, and you would simply select your manufacturer and catalog to start putting pieces in through that. You can import a CIF, and any line item that does not have a symbol will automatically place into a pick list. Or you could always add in your own part numbers for things that need to be ordered, such as touch-up paint. Click plus to add that and add your price. Click apply to save. You can close out of that, and now you can see that you have this part added to that pick list. Other tools that you have here allow you to modify the parts and pieces or modify the symbols that you have placed in your drawing that are from the Commercial Interiors library. If you have a part number where you have to reselect options, you can either double click on that symbol or select the symbol and hit Query Dialog. This is going to bring up this query dialog where you can re-option the part through the part specifier, or if this is a special order item, you can make it a special from here and input that information for your piece up here. Click Apply to save any changes. Close when you're done with that window. You can also apply materials using either the layers or the select material dialog. Either way, when you pull up those tools, you can select from either the 2D layers here, or you can select from the 3D layers down here. When you left click on an object, any layers that are associated with that object will be highlighted in purple. Over here, you can see we have several different tabs for you to be able to add finishes to your parts and pieces. For example, if I wanted to apply a finish laminate to this mobile ped, I'm going to look for the same color that is applied to this layer here, select it in my purple layers that are listed here, and then come and select the finish that I would like to put on there. As you can see, my swatch changed for both of those layers. I'm going to apply to layers so that it does it to every part that has those layers. Click Apply, and you can see now that there is that blonde wood finish to those layers. If I wanted to change my cushion, I would look for that layer color again, which is that dark blue. Come here to my textures. We'll go with this one here. You can see my change. Click Apply. And then I will do my 2 metals here. And these predefined are ones that are just readily available for you that you can use as generic finishes here in your drawing in case you aren't able to find the exact one you would like. Your select materials dialog does take a few minutes to generate as it opens the material dialog from CET, but again, you can select colors, textures, finishes from the material dialog to apply to any layer in your symbols that you may have. You can also use the eyedropper to pick and set materials to the various layers. Now, you cannot do it to any of the symbols that you pull from an extension. These do only apply to these commercial interior library symbols where you have the AutoCAD layers brought in. Some other tools that we have here are for you to bring in symbols as well as convert symbols. You can import symbols from a CIF that you may have. Simply navigate to your folder where you save your projects and have the CIF file that you would like to bring into your drawing. You can include the quantity. You can arrange your part numbers horizontally or vertically. You can set the distance between objects as well as determine the number of columns to display. Pick an insertion point so that you know where those parts and pieces are going to be put in, and then simply click OK. If you have any manually entered lines, it's going to ask if you want to install the manufacturer. Simply click no. So as you can see, any parts that did not have a symbol automatically came into this pick list here. And then my other parts placed. These symbols and moved to where I need them to be. We do have another tool that allows you to bring 3D symbols in using AutoCAD symbols. The process works the same as importing an AutoCAD file. However, currently the tool here in our commercial interiors library extension has a bug working with it. So I will include a video at the end showing how this properly works. Support is aware of this and they are. The basic process for bringing in symbols using an AutoCAD plan is that you would import your AutoCAD file the way that you normally would, including selecting the checkboxes for the items that you would like to see in your 2D and 3D drawing view. Now, when I click Insert, it is going to show you in the 2D view. However, it's going to mess up the 3D view, so just be prepared for that. As you can see here in my 2D view, I have my AutoCAD plan attached to that 0 point, and all of those furniture symbols have come in here. Coming back to my commercial, this Convert DWGV5 is the tool that you will use to convert your CAD Pack workspace or CIL for CAD symbols here in your drawing. I'm going to see if it will. All right, those symbols did come in with the AutoCAD. And when I hit that Convert DWG, it did convert those symbols and I was able to zoom in on them and see them. Now, I do want to point out that my work surfaces are actually not in place. They are there, but sometimes what happens is that manufacturers change the snap points or the data changes just a little bit and causes things to be offset. Now, you can modify the placement of all of those symbols with one simple click of this Modify Converted tool. When you guys open this Modify Converted tool, you can select objects that are out of place one of two ways. You can select them here from the menu, and you guys can see that when I select a line item, it selects the different those different surfaces there. And then what I can do is come down here to move per symbol size. I can move it a short distance. That plus sign you can see moved it even further away. If I hit that minus sign, you can see that it moves it in place. Go ahead and click OK. We'll overwrite that. And now our work surfaces are in place and we can group, move, add add finishes, do what we need to build out these symbols. So just as a reminder, here is the image where all of these tools are located in that main menu of that main component tab. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to our catalog browser extension. The catalog browser extension is really just a collection of manufacturer products that we have stored on an online database. And then you can download them as needed. These symbols are not PGC, so they are similar to the CIL extension symbols in that way. However, they do have more smartness to them as they may already have um, finishes applied to them. There are a few reasons that you may want to use the catalog browser extension. One is that the manufacturer's extension doesn't include specific catalog or product information that you're looking for, so it may not include service parts, whereas the catalog browser catalog may do that. The furniture symbols that you are looking for are still active. However, they are not currently popular, so they may be older. Or they are items that are slated to eventually make their way into the extension, but have not been fully developed at this time. So you can still access that catalog symbol for use, but you can't grab it through the extension. There are several different tools that are included in the extension, and most of them are located down here at the bottom of the extension menu. But we do have the Catalog Explorer that you can use to browse for search results. Then you can see what your actual search results are, as well as recent symbols that you have moved into your drawing. And then you can have your catalog favorites, as well as these extra tools, including another pick list option, validation tools. So coming back in here, our catalog browser extension looks like a little book with a magnifying glass on it. And when you guys come in here, up here in the Catalog Explorer, you can open that dialog box to specifically choose from a manufacturer's catalogs. You can also simply search for the part here in the search bar, and it will generate an image when that part has been downloaded from the catalog that is online. If at any time you open up a catalog and you get these symbols here, these rainbow boxes, that simply means that that particular symbol has not downloaded yet. And it will eventually be the symbol when you download it. You can see that when you go into catalogs, you may also have to look through this selection here to left click, find that piece, and then bring it here into your drawing. And actually, we'll make that 0. Then it's there on the desk. Okay. And as you can see in that quick properties box, I actually don't have other options that I can apply. So if I needed to change the way things look, I would have to do that using that Material Explorer. So how do I know if I want to use the catalog browser or the CIL extension? Basically, you'll want to use the catalog browser if any of these situations apply to you. If you have the manufacturer's extension, but you need additional symbols because that symbol is not in the extension yet, you can use that catalog browser since it uses that same data from the extension. Catalog browser symbols do have some simple intelligence built into them, including that finish mapping in most cases. So it's going to be easy for you to select materials for those items. These symbols also have a similar characteristic to the extension. So if you need something that has characteristics that are similar to the extension symbol without the full-blown extension symbol, then I would suggest checking Catalog Browser. So when should you use the CIL extension? The CIL extension should be used if the manufacturer does not have an extension at all. Not all CIL symbols will have finish mapping and may require further steps to reflect your options. So those layer tools, those material dialog tools, as well as that eyedropper. And then CIL symbols are built on a different platform than PGC symbols, so they may act differently. And they may have conflicting information. If they do, please reach out to our support team so that we can get that data fixed so that you have a seamless flow of information from CET to the CIL library extension. Some tips and tricks for using that CIL extension: go ahead and make your symbols blocks or groups. That way they can move together as one piece since they don't have the same snapping action as symbols from extensions. You can modify that installation text as needed. Add those finishes to your layers. You can do that while you're in AutoCAD because now you can import materials with symbols in your AutoCAD import. Use pick lists for generic costs and items. Use that pick and drop materials tool, and then you can also access that material dialog window if you are already in CIL rather than having to go back to CET. Next, let's talk about CET calculations or a spec spreadsheet. When do you know to use one or the other? Just a very quick overview. When you want to apply discounting and margins by a group in calculations to get a clear picture of the project budget, that's when you want to do that in calculations for CET. Also in calculations, to see if a line item is fully optioned, keep that complete column turned on because then you can filter incomplete items by using that complete column. Also, use various article views to provide snapshots by specific criteria. So in CET, you can create very specific article views for very specific parts and pieces quickly by using the some of the benefits of using spec in a spreadsheet for your spreadsheet is going to be great for faster discounting and proposal creation. So the first part of your budget checking can be done in CET, but then to get down to the really nitty gritty details, you'll probably want to move into spec or use spec. In spec, you can use discount tables for efficient and repeatable discounting because those discount tables are able to be saved and shared company-wide. Also, in Spec, you have several advanced options to allow for easy manipulation of your spreadsheet. You do have pricing buttons, option buttons, standard option tables. You can check for error. You can filter using the columns, and you can also sort and group by using criteria. Um, when you guys are pricing or optioning, you can actually filter by criteria to apply that information as well. So coming back in here to CET, let's go ahead and open our calculations view, and you guys can see here that I have saved my my view settings so that I have it grouped by manufacturer. It does include our no-name manufacturers, so those items that you put into a pick list. It includes your catalog browser symbols as well as your smart symbols. Okay. As stated, you guys can create different article views using filtering and or grouping and sorting to get specific information about parts and pieces here in calculations. One of the easiest ways to do that is to do the lasso calculation. So I can do that lasso calculation. It is the calculator with the dotted line around it here in my 2D toolbar. Simply left click to grab that tool, and then you can create your lasso around the symbols that you want to include. And you can see that it is specific to those items. You can rename this then, and I'll say private office group. And then I can also filter this out to show specific records for. So here you can see I've changed my view settings to have a bunch of pricing columns turned on so that I can apply discounting based on manufacturer here. I can also apply a broad blanket discount at the bottom down here. However, if you needed to do this for your entire spreadsheet and apply all of your discounting per manufacturer, you would have to set up your view settings for your article views per manufacturer to apply those discounts. However, if I wanted to move this over into spec where discounting is extremely efficient and repeatable, as well as verifying that I have my current pricing, my standard options are valid, or just my options are. I'm going to select my main article view before I click on that export to spec button, because whatever article view I have selected is the article view that will be sifted out when I go to spec. I'm going to go ahead and click this view parts in spec button, and you can see it's thinking as it's moving things into spec. And when I open up spec, you can see here is the entire list of parts and pieces that we have brought in from CET. So now that I have my project in Spec and I'm going to do my discounting in Spec, what exactly makes Spec so great for discounting? Short answer is our discount tables. Our discount tables can be created in several different ways. You can import them as an XML, you can import them from an Excel spreadsheet. You can also manually enter them in, or you can make them from the records within the spreadsheet itself. Once you have created a discount table, not only can you save it to that project, but you can save it as an external file and use it on any other project or share it with any other spec user that you know. You can apply your discounting structure to multiple manufacturers as well as custom line items, all with a single click. So once your discount table is set up, even those manually entered items that would go in a pick list, you can now discount because it's not going to be based off of a specific manufacturer code or catalog code. It's based off of the part that you're ordering. You can save your discount tables to be client specific. So basically making a client contract that has an expiration date as well as tiered pricing. So based on furniture spend amounts. So if you have a tier for 0 to 100K, 100K to 400K, you can set that up in your discount table. You can apply your discounts based on specific criteria that you set up. So if you wanted to only apply to specific part numbers with a specific tag, you can do that. You can also use those discount tables that come in an XML format. I know that there are some manufacturers who provide those discounts in that XML table. You are able to import those directly into Spec. So back in Spec, I'm going to come over here to my Price tab. This is where I can set up those general discounts, which is a blanket discount that I could apply using a single criteria. So if I only wanted to apply a discount to a single manufacturer, I could do that by filtering the criteria here. Entering my discount, I'm going to go ahead and actually do that. So I will just do I'll do that one. And let's say I can do either a whole number, a decimal point, and then another benefit of doing discounting here is if I have those wonderful fractional discounts because I get bonus discounts for the amount of furniture I sell, I can put those fractional discounts in here and then select a customer discount to apply that discount to those line items. And you can see any line item that has that discount, it will be applied and calculated for you here in the spreadsheet. One great thing about Spec is you can come in here and manually update any discounting to really, really squeeze out your margin dollars where you need to. Now to set up those table discounts, you're going to come here to your table discount icon. And as I said, there are several different ways that you guys can bring these discount tables in or create them. This import DIS will allow you to access any other discount tables that you have created. Export will allow you to save the current discount structure that you have created here. You can create from the spreadsheet. You can import your XML. As I said, you can type information in as needed. You can also right click and import this from Excel. Okay, so there are several different ways. I'm going to show you guys today the really generic create from fields, which is going to create our discount structure from the CIF that or the project that we have active. I'm going to click create new. And as you guys can see, I can select various criteria to apply those discounts based on what I have filled in here in my spreadsheet. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And then again, I can go ahead and I can enter any kind of discounting that I get here, whether it be per catalog or manufacturer. Again, I can put in whole numbers, decimal points, and those formulas, as well as set a specific customer percentage discount. So let's say I'm going to give them 25% off. I could set a margin percent. Let's say I want 27% there, and let's say I want to get 29% there. Once I have my entire discount structure set up, I can go ahead and simply click apply, and it's going to go ahead and apply those discounts to those part numbers that I pulled in here. Okay. So you can see that discount and those margins are set up based off of the discounting structure that I inputted in that table. Now, if I wanted to save this for future use, again, I'll simply click export, name that table, and then when I go to bring it back in, it is there. The next portion of our presentation is going to be based on whether or not you would like to use CET print. Really, the CET print reports are great for BOMs and simple article view printing because they really are just master lists of your parts lists as well as your BOM. And there's not a ton of customization that you can do to the print reports prior to printing. So CET reports are the perfect reports or the perfect companions for those installation documents and pay-per-views. They're also really great if you just need a basic list of product with the options. These reports do have some limited customization capabilities, but are still very professional and polished looking. You'll want to use a customized spec print template for more robust presentations or proposals. So if you're looking to remove programs like PowerPoint or Excel from your software repertoire in your processes, Spec is going to be able to do that for you. The print templates that you can create can be customized to really fit most, if not all, of your printing needs. You can include full proposal packets. So essentially, you can eliminate PowerPoint depending on how detailed those PowerPoint proposal packets are. And you can also pre-design your reports from the template that we provide for you. So we already have a basic start to some of these reports that you guys can use immediately included with spec. Some of the things that the spec print templates can include can be renders from CET, as well as floor plans that you have put directly into your installation documents in CET. Any kind of company logo, branding, or other assets can be programmed into your custom print templates. So if you guys have a very specific hex code color or RGB code for your company branding colors, you can enter that at any point. Same thing with fonts, font size, etc. Any data that is generated or spit out from spec or project info in spec can be included. And you can create an unlimited number of reports, including a project lookbook. The reports themselves, so your print template file can be shared, so everyone prints the same reports and the reports all look the same. As I said, spec does come with a generic default set of reports at no extra cost for you guys to use as a launching pad to create your own reports. You can also create universal headers and footers so that you don't have to continuously create them in every single report that you make. And we do have a full-blown workshop here at CETX, as well as on the Academy for you to attend to learn how to create these print templates for your company. So here in to take a look at those various product reports that we have available to you, you're going to want to make sure you have your images. So I'm just going to apply. Now that everything is optioned, I'm going to come here to project info, make sure I've got my any special order information here. Any notes that I would like to add. I can add images here to be included, my dealership information, and then any charges that I would like to include, as well as taxes. As a caveat, if you are inputting your charges as a line item, please do not include them here in your charges in project info, as you will be double charging your client. Click apply to save. So now that when I come to print, I can come here to my printer. If I needed to filter records, I could select a range, a specific selection, or again, I can filter using a single criteria here. I'm just going to click next. Now I can select my template, which is the folder that contains the individual printable reports. This default print template folder here is the one that comes with spec versus this one here that is a custom created folder. All of these reports are automatically given to you with the program. And again, you can select any report, click preview to make sure that the information is what you need. And as you guys can see here, there is quite a bit of information that is already included in this specific report, ready to be printed off for you. You can print using paper directly from the preview, also PDF, HTML, XML, or even text. So as a reminder, when you are looking to go to either CET or Spec for printing, you really need to understand what your needs are. Do you need styles applied to your reports? Or do you need something very simple, not very fancy? Who is your audience? Is there going to be complex discounting across multiple manufacturers or catalogs? Take all of those things into consideration when you are thinking about which program you need to use. Ways that you can use the platform together is that you can add an area rendering or 2D floor plan from CET to your spec report using group images. You can use the spec button at the top of CET to open your CIF file with one click. There's really no need to export anymore. Because the columns in CET and Spec now are identical, you can set up the exact same view settings in your article views in CET as in Spec as well. I do want to point out again that there is a workshop on how to create print templates on Wednesday of CET Experience, where we will show you guys how to make those cover pages as well as 2D floor plans. And then in the print template workshop, we go through all of the very specific information that you guys need to create print templates and reports from scratch. So importing and exporting from CET and Spec are a little bit different. When you export from CET, if you're going to Spec, you can use just that Spec button. There's no need to actually export the file. Then you will want to use the Configura CIF export for the majority of your exporting. It is the most general and basic setup. If you have a manufacturer specific export, please use that instead of the Configura export. And then you can also map columns to create custom CIF exports. We do recommend working with our support team if you are going to do that. If you are importing into CET, you can import files into CET using that CIL extension. That's how you can get a CIF import into CET. We do also have that AutoCAD import option using the CAD tools on your tools extension tab. In Spec, you can import a PMX from CET. You can import a Spec CIF. Any kind of a CIF you can just bring into Spec. You can set Spec as your default CIF reader. So in case you ever get a file and you want to just kind of double click on it and open it, if Spec is your default CIF import reader, when you double click on that file, you can automatically see it open in Spec. You can also click and drag a CIF into Spec. We do have manufacturer-specific imports, custom CIF imports, and you can import from CAP worksheet. You just have to be sure to export from the SP4 to get that CIF file. And then depending on whether or not you use the alias columns or the tag column will determine which worksheet import you want to use. Exporting from Spec, we do have our auto export CIF in our Spec settings. So there is no actual need to export a CIF once you are done with a project, as it will save a PMX file or CIF in its entirety as the BOM or parts list automatically. You can do your standard CIF export by clicking that export button in Spec. You could also do a manufacturer-specific export. If your manufacturer has a specific export set up, please use that. We do also have a custom CIF export profile that you can set up with support as well. So go ahead and take a few minutes to just sit back and practice importing, exporting CIFs from CET into Spec, exporting that CIF from Spec and taking it back into CET using the CIL extension. Pay attention to those headers and potential fields. Be proactive when you are setting up your information in CET. For example, if you have multiple tags and you need to see multiple tags, be sure you add those tags to your drawing from the start. Support is always available if you guys need assistance. There is a support button in both CET and in Spec. If you click that, it does take you to the Help Center to get to that chat with a human option. Thank you so much, and I hope that you have learned some new things about how to work with CET and Spec.